Good day. Thank you for taking the time to watch this presentation of our research entitled Helping the Time of COVID-19. Research is made by myself, Neil Penullar, and my wife, Annalissa Penullar. If you have time, I request you to see also the other presentations of COSCA personnel describing how the pandemic has affected alternative learning system and all our other community partners. Of course, as a background, we all know that last March 16, 2020, the enhanced community quarantine was implemented over Luzon, and even prior to that, from March 9 to 15, the mayor of Manila also suspended classes amidst fears of COVID infection. As a result of that, we all know that the campus was closed, work and classes were suspended. There were restrictions on mobility, even mass gatherings, and even off-campus activities were not allowed. So for a brief period of time, our social engagement activities were suspended up until the time that we were able to shift them already to distance mode. And so this research try to answer the question, how can we do social engagement during this pandemic and even beyond? We did an action research consisting of two parts. There was an online survey asking members of the community to evaluate social engagement using the principles of social development during this pandemic, and a focus group discussion using the Lasallian reflection framework as a guide on how should we do social engagement in the new normal. So these were the two frameworks I've just mentioned we used in the study, the principles of Lasallian social development and the LRF. So in terms of the survey results, on a scale of 1 to 5, you would see that in terms of the overall mission accomplishment, there was a mean of 4.21 out of 5 as evaluated by the 199 respondents. And if you look at the 3 principles of social development, you would see that the areas where we need to improve more would be in the area of association and mission and liberating action. If you break that down into the various sectors, here are the scores. You would see that we need to find out how we could improve social engagement, and we would need the suggestions of the faculty members, and in terms of administrator who accomplished the survey, they rated it in 5, and you can check the other scores. By campus, here are the scores. So it's still in the Manila campus that we need to consult and improve and strengthen our social engagement. So there were also some open-ended questions in the survey, and these are the top 3 items that came out. One would be the need to prioritize needy internal stakeholders in the same way as we are helping those that are outside. And there was an emphasis on raising greater social awareness in new modes as we were working from home or doing online learning. And there was a request also to continue the various social engagement projects of the university. In the focus group discussion, we tried to answer 3 questions. On the Masidanas, what's the biggest effect of the pandemic on the sectors that were part of the discussion? And based on the LGPs and our Christian values, under Suri nila, what should we start, stop, or continue in social engagement? And from that discussion, come out with recommendations on how the sector can contribute towards social engagement. So these were the criteria we used in selecting participants. Here's the breakdown. You could pause that, and if you'd like to check that more, we had community partners and members of the various sectors. So in terms of the first question of impact, top impact would be, of course, the effect of the pandemic on the personal well-being of those that participated. There's also a mention of abrupt disruption of both online learning, the work, and even the social engagement. You would remember that the classes were just suspended, and it kept on getting extended up to this point. We're almost a year into community quarantine. Some of the items they mentioned would be, I'd like to highlight here that the difficulty mentioned moving because people are at risk, and the difficulty of asking how other people or colleagues are doing when you yourself and your family is not doing okay. In terms of the responses of the sectors, number one discussed would be how to find new ways of communicating the needs of the partners, even the difficulties. The community partner representative shared how they used online meetings, did phone calls, and even SMS just to get to know how the partners are doing. And a faculty participant shared how she has helped the Homeowners Association respond to COVID in their community, and some other responses. Things that we need to continue is the willingness to learn and innovate, as even colleagues in the Lasallian mission and COSCA tried to find ways of how to deliver needed humanitarian aid. And it was also similar. There was also a similar response in terms of the various sectors. But there's a strong emphasis also on valuing relationships, because the pandemic has shaken everything, our way of life. It's good to always incorporate what they call kumustahan or kumustahan sessions in their meetings. And one of the participants shared that their meetings took hours because they had to ask everyone to share how they were doing during the pandemic. Things that we need to start would be, one of the participants strongly emphasized the need to plan for disruption, and it was mentioned that this was already suggested in several strategic planning sessions, and it was good that this time in the university strategic planning it was considered risk management and all. And then, of course, I'd like to highlight the second one would be the meaningful and heartfelt social engagement. Some of the things they shared were the following. The one participant shared that the community partners would know if you're just calling them just for work and not really because you were concerned about their situation. And the faculty participant also shared that some journal articles that would be important during this time would be those that speak life, and no longer those that are merely cognitive. And in terms of the things that must be stopped, the recommendation was to stop dwelling on the past. There needs to be creativity in decision making and in making plans, and the past projects, whether it succeeded or it failed, no longer apply because the context has changed a lot. As a result, the survey results and the FGD results, as well as the other data we've gathered from the partners and the other presentations you will see here in this Arts Congress, we all presented them in the strategic planning of the university and Lasallian mission. As a result, the support for the least well-off students, faculty, and staff was included in the 2023 strategic plan. We joined the chorus of the other sectors proposing the focus on this one. And then if you would check the University Social Engagement Fund guidelines, the one that was posted by a help desk, you would see that there's an additional goal number 9, placing a financial assistance program for external service providers of the university. And then in the Lasallian mission, there was an agreement to strengthen the student welfare program. and the Lasallian Care Initiative, providing aid to the most vulnerable employees. So for more information on the paper itself, you may find the write-up in the proceedings. Thank you.